And this booklet is called Battle Ready, and this is what we're going to encourage you today. This is all about becoming battle ready in preparation to not wait till you get cancer, but start preventing things and start really making your body, like in Ephesians 6, it says to put on the armor of God. And so you're going to put on the armor of God, but we're going to take action too. And this is what is going to encourage you to take action. So we're going to give you some action steps at the end. So these are just little tools and resources. And then you also got this fasting. And I know sometimes when I talk about fasting, people want to run out the door and not hear it. But when it comes to cancer, we're going to talk a lot about why fasting is very necessary to allow your body to go and become basically a cancer killer. And so this is where we have a 5-week challenge. And guess what? It's not Christmas or Thanksgiving yet, so you have about 5 weeks to do this challenge before you ruin it, before the holidays, like just make it. And so, or maybe you change your mind by then and you say, you know what, I've kind of adapted this new lifestyle, and you actually start making those changes. So I'm going to encourage you to at least try it. And so we're going to go over how to do this when I get there. And so we have a lot of good stuff today. And please feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I start with this scripture: greater is he that is in you than he who is in the world. And right now, lots going on in our world, as you guys know, with what's going on out there in Israel. And Jesus wept is the shortest verse in the Bible, but he weeps more whenever he knows that you still maybe haven't committed to him. And so I just want to know that whenever you commit to your body, it's not about looking good or whatever. It's about committing to him. And this is where we apply when we talk about our 5 essentials here, chiropractic. It's about doing the best we can to serve him. And your reason you're going to change is not about you per se, but it's about living to your potential. And that's where we hope today we encourage you. Because right now, I'm not going to give you too many statistics, but you guys know that cancer and heart disease are the top leading killers. Cancer is unfortunately right now 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women are getting this. And I really feel that a lot of factors have to do why this is going on. But this month is a month of what? Cancer awareness. I hope you guys are aware already. Like, I don't think we need to be made aware of it anymore. It's about really now taking action. And most of the time when they do awareness, they do what? Like, they tell you to go
to primary care.
To what?
Primary care doctor.
But what do you go do?
Mammograms.
So you go get screened for something. And, it's, if you want to screen, there's different methods we're going to talk about screening that are better than others. But the biggest thing is that once they screen you, then what? They either find you're okay or you're not okay, but they never tell you what to do. And they tell you that if you have cancer, it's because of what? I ask a lot of questions, by the way, guys, and if you participate, if you want one. All right, so.
They tell you it's hereditary.
What's that?
They tell you it's hereditary. Like it's genetics.
It's genetic. They say that cancer is a genetic disease, and I want to talk about this today, but here you go. Definitely one of those things that they say it's in your blood, it's genetic, it's, so in other words, that you have no hope other than to just hey, it's in my blood, whatever, put your hands up in the air, and if I get it, I get it. But you got to understand that they never talk about, maybe they'll talk about smoking or, you know, things like that. But they never say, you know what? If you're not sleeping good, if you're stressed, how you're eating, have they ever told you, you know, you can actually control this? So most doctors don't ever talk about that. So what we're going to talk about is how to prevent it. But this is the myth I have to break, that cancer is not genetic. That maybe one or two cancers can be, but what happens is we're all with these genes in our body, and we all have cancer right now. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't care who you are, you have cancer. But you have been given an amazing immune system that's always attacking that cancer. So I'm going to talk about rats in the dump later, but I will mention it now because this seems like an appropriate time. Well, this is a great trash can because it really doesn't have anything other than a tissue paper, maybe. So if I were to have a rat, would a rat be attracted to this trash can? Because it's clean, right? Now, if I take another trash can here that's full of all the food you just ate, and I leave it outside, would a rat be attracted to it?
Yes.
Because it starts to get dirty, right? So, which is your body? The dirty one or the clean one? So we call this a philosophy that a chiropractor came up with. Is like, most people are afraid of germs during this time. But if you have a clean trash can, you're not stressed, you're taking care of yourself, you're exercising, you have oxygen, you have all the right stuff, putting the right nutrients in your body versus a dirty trash can, who's more likely to succumb to that germ? You guys see that? So is it the germ that's the problem?
No.
It's never been the germ, guys, or else we'll all be dead. You know what I mean? It's your environment. And so that's what the philosophy of rats in the dump, where a chiropractic doctor started to wonder why two people can be in the same environment, in a work environment, and one gets sick and not the other. You know what I mean? And so if it were really our, you know, the germ, we need to go back to why is this immune system functioning and this one's not.
One's eating office donuts and one's not.
Exactly. So, did you guys hear her? Yeah. So, too many office donuts. So, you have twins and, you know, same genetics, same everything, just like my kids. One gets diabetes type 1 and one doesn't. Identical twins. Why was this one weaker? And, you know, and we're pretty good. I mean, we're getting adjusted, doing all the right stuff. But apparently, he was weaker. And I know why he was weaker. You guys know my kid's story. Maybe some of you don't, so I'll tell it. There were twin-to-twin transfusion babies. I don't know if you guys know what that is. They're in the same placenta, sharing the same blood, same everything. But the placenta had one umbilical cord. Cruz, that got the diabetes, had the little thread, and Ty had the bigger thread. So he was getting more of the groceries. You guys see that? So typically a twin-to-twin transfusion babies, I hate to say this word, the runt that they call them, they say let's abort him because he's not going to make it. 1 out of 10,000 make it. So he was already at a loss. Well, guess what? I had no clue I had twins, so he made it. And he's a miracle in itself. And he saved his brother by giving him all the food. Yeah. So his name is Cruz, meaning cross, meaning sacrifice anyways. But basically he is, you know, always had battles. This is his twin brother. This is him. But he's still here. And he just has neurologically, physically, mentally, he's always going to be probably delayed. He's like at a 3rd grade level at 15. So this is where you have the same genes, but one was weaker. Does that make sense? But God still made him amazing, and he's still here. But they'll go back to the story. You can have 2 twins that one dies 10 years earlier and the other one doesn't. So is it a genetic thing? We all have the same genes, but who's more susceptible? Does that make sense? So this is where we got to remember it's not genetics. Time Magazine talked about this. It's epigenetics. It's lifestyle. So I hope I made the point. All right. So the next thing is that you have to know what it is, because you can go in a car and if you don't have a map now or a GPS and you're wanting to get to a destination, how are you going to be able to attack it if you don't even know what it is? So a lot of times people say, I want to attack my cancer, but you don't even know what it is or how it works. So I want to make sure you know what it is and what causes it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So by the time you leave here, you can go tell somebody else what you learned here. And then and I try to make sure I talk slow, guys, but if I start talking too above your head, you're probably wondering, the same person's asking the other thing, but nobody's asking me, okay? So ask. So again, the immune response, we all have an immune system that's going to attack this, like I said. I'm actually, going to talk about cancers is actually a good thing. It's the body doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And most of the time I tell somebody with cancer that, and they're like, what? And it's like, that doesn't scare me, you have cancer. That's actually a good thing. Your body's buying you time. And people don't get it, what I'm talking about, but it's an adaptation that's going on. And so let me just see if this plays. I'm hoping it does.
The green cell you see here is a killer T cell of the immune system, which is attacking the cancerous red and blue cell. You can tell when the killer cell has recognized the cancer cell because the 2 dots move around and contact the target. The killer cell then spreads out over the cancerous cell. Passing the video through a filter makes the killer cell look yellow and allows us to really see how it focuses on the cancer cell. These killer T cells are constantly hunting down dangerous cells throughout the body and destroying them.
So that's how powerful our body is. Your body is made to kill this stuff. So I don't know if it's because of sin. Who knows? But we all have cancer. But guess what? God also made you powerful. But do you trust it? And that's where the problem is, that we have so much junk and so much junk attacking our immune system now. Like you mentioned, little things like you go to the grocery store and what's the first thing you start getting to wipe down your grocery cart? And antibacterial stuff, so you have everything is antibacterial, so your immune system goes down a little bit. Then not to mention, I just talk about this at another date, but vaccines, you're not allowing your body to actually increase your immune system by getting sick. Every time you get sick, it's your body doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. So if you're puking out one hole and then out the other, it's a good thing. Like, thank God, because your body is doing what it needs to do to get rid of that stuff. You guys see that? But this philosophy we got to entertain all the time. So what we need to do is maximize our immune system, because toxins are now minimizing our immune system. You name it. I'm going to talk about everything. But this is where we need to start to strengthen our immune system that God gave us. Getting adjusted, exercise, increasing your oxygen. I'm going to talk about all this stuff, but you guys get this. So cancer is a survival mechanism. And what do I mean by that? This is basically the new hypothesis. So let me give you, I love examples. So it's a wound healing response. So many times people get like diagnosis of a polyp or something in their gut. Okay, this is just an example. I use like sometimes a callus on your hand. So if you do pull-ups, I like CrossFitters, you know, you do pull-ups and after, or you do like snow plowing and then you haven't done it, you get a what? You get irritation, you get a blister. And you keep doing it the next day, you get another blister. But then after a while, you start building these what? Calluses. So your body adapts by putting more proliferation of some cells to kind of build up for it. So it's buying you time. Okay, so let's say this is the lumen here, or this is the lumen of your intestines, the canal. And then stage 0, you see that little callus? I don't have a laser, but you see stage 1, it's a little indentation. And so you got lots of inflammation in your gut. You do nothing. It starts forming stage 1, which is a little bit more callus in your gut. You guys see that? And then it starts going to stage 2, which is a little bit builder. So these cells start to grow. It's not cancer yet. It's just building more cells, right? A clump of cells. Stage 3, then finally stage 4. It's like this is probably a tumor of some kind. Stage 4, maybe it's also going to metastasize. That makes sense? So wherever it is. If it's in your hand, or if it's on your skin, or if it's anywhere, your body will build more cells. And that's what cancer is. So cancer is just cells that don't die. They just build up. A cell is supposed to live and what? Die. The lining of your stomach should live and die. Basically, cancer is when a cell does not die. That's called apoptosis, is when cell death. But cells that don't die, and they proliferate, and typically with cancer, they go awry, like really, like even faster than normal cells, and then they just form like these fibrotic tissues to protect them, which I'll give you an example later. But cancer is a survivor mechanism. You have normal cells, you have what we call now, bigger words, hyperplasia is that little bump, lots of cells. Then you get metaplasia, which is transformation of one type of tissue to another. So they start forming like weird looking cells. Okay. So again, I don't like to use all these. Then dysplasia, like when they're going to do a pap smear, they like scrape it off and then test it. Okay. And then neoplastic, which is already cancerous. So anyways, and then cancer. So what is cancer? The body is made up of trillions of cells. Every cell has a life cell, and then it dies, which is called what? Apoptosis. All right. So you're getting tested here. So, all right. And so then cancer occurs when a group of cells do not die. So this is cell death. You have a cell, 2 cells, and finally 1 dies. And that's part of our, human cycle. But this one here, they just keep dividing. And that P53, the P53 gene turns on and it just doesn't die. And so that's what creates an issue. So now what cancer doesn't make you sick, it's your sickness over time that creates cancer. So people typically, like if they come in here and tell me, hey, you know what, the doctor found cancer, I'm sick. Well, cancer didn't make you sick. What made you sick? You've been sick for years, then you get cancer. You're going to see that I always do this little kind of like, this is health over here. This is death. Not that you're death, but you always sit over here on this side. And he's still thriving. How old are you?
83.
83. All my older people. Pat. And you're still like abundant life, right? So, but this, we're all going there, but how fast are we going over here? That makes sense? So this is where a healthy cell has an environment that we need, that really is conducive of health. So number 1, it is a cell that needs oxygen. All right? It needs a nerve supply. It actually doesn't even need sugar. It can survive without sugar, a healthy cell. All right? A sick cell, like a cancer cell, it doesn't need nerve supply. it doesn't need oxygen. Like, cancer doesn't care if it has oxygen or not. Actually, if you put oxygen, it doesn't like it. This has a pH of 7.2. I had this thing this whole week. Have you checked your pH? Most cancers are acidic. So when you test your acidity, like with these saliva things, it likes a neutral, like 7.2. A cancer cell likes a pH that's really acidic or very alkaline too. You have alkaline cancers. But this cell, the biggest thing, you see all those little things sticking out of it? It starts to form a layer around it, and it receptors that listen to what? All it needs is what? Sugar. I can't give you another book. Who said it? There you go. All it wants is sugar. It has these new receptors, and that's all that's going to feed it. So just knowing that, what do you think that we should do to try to kill this guy?
Sugar.
Give it nerve supply. Give it what? Oxygen. Get rid of sugar. And then what else did I say? Alkalize your body. Make it neutral. Okay, and we're going to talk about what to do that too. So there you go. So what causes cancer? The cause of cancer and all diseases when the cells becomes toxic, deficient, or have decrease in function. Again, characteristics of a healthy cell: uses oxygen for fuel, doesn't use sugar for fuel, lives in slightly alkaline environment, and needs proper nerve supply. And we just talked about this. Uses sugar for fuel. The cancer cell doesn't use oxygen, lives in an acidic environment, and what else? Needs proper nerve supply. All right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Might be silly, but so oxygen would be working out or...
Yeah, breathing, working out. That's free oxygen. Now, some of my... Do you want to come up?
I can.
Come on this way. So I have a patient who has been doing amazing, and she's going to talk about her testimony with cancer, and I'm going to probably stand next to you so you can like talk.
Okay.
Well, you if you don't hear her, tell me, but this is for the microphone for the video. Okay, so but she's very soft spoken, and so Pat, how old are you?
I'm 83.
Can you guys hear her? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So everything Rosie has said is so important because if you catch it early, it's so much more beneficial to control it and to get rid of it. Unfortunately, I did not catch mine early, and I started coming to Rosie. I had a year ago in November. I had major lung surgery. They took 3 wedges out of my right lung, and then I had to decide what I wanted to do to work on getting healthy, and I chose the healthy way that Rosie does, and so I came into Rosie. And I started the program in, surgery's in November. In December, they told me I had not one kind of cancer, but 2 kinds of cancer. One very rare that they never even see in the lungs, but I have that one too. So I started on the program, the detox, the everything, and the products. And now it will be a year this coming November. And I have the book, Cancer Killers. That's so important. It was for me because it tells you exactly what you can do, how you can eat, how that all works together. So when I started on the program very seriously in January, no sugar and no carbs, because the book will tell you as soon as you put a carb in your mouth, it turns to sugar. So cancer loves sugar, don't we all? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't just love it; it thrives on sugar. It's a big deal. But the other thing I found out was that cancer does not like oxygen, which she's really addressed very clearly. But so I do an oxygen treatment once a week. Rosie and John have a unit that is called a Hocket. It's a machine. It opens up like a butterfly. It has a seat in it. You sit on the seat. They close it on you. Just your neck and your head is out. It's a half hour. It's great. It's warm. It's very healing. It has a lot of different things in it that help heal your body, including oxygen, which we need. And I love the thing about the exercise, because that's the other thing the book talks about, is you need to exercise a half hour a day. So I'm doing that, and it's like I say, it'll be a year in November. I do go to an oncologist. That was my first mistake, I think, but anyway, she does a CT scan, a CAT scan on me every 4 months with contrast to check my lungs. And my next one is week before Thanksgiving in November. But every time she does it, I go in and see her afterwards, and she just shakes her head, and she says, "You're a really unusual case." And that's because my cancer is not growing. It has not grown since I had surgery last November. But I am faithfully live on this. No sugar, no carb, and lots of oxygen and exercise. And there's a lot of things you can eat, but there's a lot of things you can't. Mm-hmm. But that's okay, because there's really good news on this, actually. I live by myself in my own house, and I take care of my own house. I drive my own car. I do all my own shopping. I work in my yard all the time. And one of the best parts is I've never had to be on oxygen with a tank or anything like that. In fact, the best thing was just about a month ago, before I went to do the Hocket, I had exercised that morning for a half hour. And when I went, John always takes your blood pressure and your oxygen level. And when I got there, my oxygen level was 99, and that's about as perfect as you can get. So I know the exercise works. I know this whole program works for everybody. I wish I'd have caught it sooner, but I didn't even know sooner.
And what's the number one thing in her life is who?
God.
Amen.
Yeah. So we give him the glory, guys. Yeah, I didn't do any of that. Who did it? God, and she took action. You know, there's a story in the Bible, thank you, and we're going to gift you with an amazing gift, so thank you so much for sharing. But definitely, if you guys know the story of the woman who bled, you know what I mean? She was outcasted. She was, you know, if you can just picture this throng of the people pushing through to try to get to that man, that if I could just touch his cloak, the hem of his, you know, cloak, that I would heal. I mean, people are probably spitting on her probably while she's doing it. I don't know. But she did that. She took action. And that one step, God doesn't need, he just needs that one step of your willingness. And that's what I love about her, is that she's done this all by herself. She just said, what else could I do? And I'm like, you know what? I have no clue. I'm not a cancer doctor, guys. No clue. But I trust Jesus, and I know faith without works is dead, and let's just take action. What happens, that's up to you, your body, and God, and we just step back and give him the glory. Amen. Okay, and so that's what it's about, guys. So a normal healthy cell is functioning aerobically, and this is what I need you guys to understand. It functions aerobically, so it needs what? A normal cell? Oxygen. So cancer is not genetic, it's a metabolic disease. And if you guys don't know what a metabolic disease is, in our cells we have these organelles called mitochondria. Mitochondria is what sugar comes in, and then you have sugar that goes into this, I'm not going to talk scientific, but this Krebs cycle. Okay. And this work was done by Otto Warburg, who in 1945, you know, whatever. But anyways, he started to notice that, you know, with healthy cells, they're very efficient machines. Sugar comes in here, and I'm going to attribute it to a gallon of gas, okay? So with 1 gallon of gas, once this sugar goes in here and it goes and finishes all these little wrinkles here, the electron transport, oxidative phosphorylation, I'm not going to talk over your head, but it produces 36 miles, 34, 36 ATP, but I'm going to call it miles per hour, per gallon. That makes sense? Where this sick mitochondria in a cancer cell, it's been destroyed. This one doesn't need sugar because it can't use it anymore, this mitochondria. So it goes outside of the cell and just produces anaerobic fuel. Okay, so with 1 ATP, 1 glucose, it only forms 2 ATP. So 2 gallons per sugar. Does that make sense? So how effective is this car versus this car? It's weak. So in this one, you get a lot of fermentation because it turns into lactic acid because it doesn't turn that. So that's where anaerobic and aerobic go to. So you want to function aerobically. And if your mitochondria aren't working, then you can't process that. So this is where, what's it going to need all the time? This cell, this sick cell, what does it need all the time? Sugar, because it can't use oxygen. This one needs oxygen, and with oxygen, that fuel is just much better. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, so I tried to break it down as much as I can. But see, so this is the world right now. So basically, once they find the cancer, they either will have you do what? Chemotherapy, surgery, or they burn it, right? So it's the cut, poison, burn. I mean, literally, you're either going to get cut. And so this is where surgery, there's a time and place for everything. So it's sometimes a thank God system. Sometimes if it's gone awry, let's say you have a big old tumor in your brain, and it's not allowing your cerebral spinal fluid to flow because there's so much swelling, you know what? Maybe you're going to need to go get that cut off to allow that swelling to come down. So is there a time and place? Maybe. You know what I mean? Thank God system, right? Sometimes you need it. So, but the problems is that with surgery, you're going to have some risks, like everything, right? So you have increasing cancer cells, adhesion. So sometimes the cells kind of like whenever you cut it off, then it forms like more scar tissue or more cancer, okay? Suppression of your immune system, promoting angiogenesis, meaning that angiogenesis is just you get more blood vessels, collateral vessels that maybe you can spread it elsewhere. So they'll cut it here, but then it spreads, and so then they find it somewhere else, okay? Or stimulates inflammation too. So then all the drugs that come with it. So hopefully you make it. So sometimes it saves people and sometimes it's not. So that's what I'm just telling you. There's a time and place for everything, but you got to weigh your risk and what you want to do. Whose decision is it? You, yourself, and you. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you decide that between you and God. You know, you pray about it. And whatever decision you take, that's up to you. Don't let anybody condemn you. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, that was a bad, you know what I mean? That's your body, and, well, God's in it, right? So you have to pray about this. And if it sits well with you, then go for it. And guess what we're going to do? Pray for you and love you no matter what. Does that make sense? And whoever judges you, you know, get away from me, Satan. You know, this is what I'm going to do, and that's fine. All right? So this is where don't ever feel bad for whatever decision you make. All right? The other one is chemotherapy. And so there's chemotherapy. The option is that they used to use this chemical. It was mustine, where they put you kind of like in the chamber kind of a thing. It's mustine gas. And so anyways, it kills fast-growing cells really quick. So that's why sometimes you'll have like teeth fall out or hair fall out. So hopefully it attacks them all. So hopefully it'll attack the cancer as well, but it may attack other stuff. Does that make sense? So this is where there's risk with that. The first chemotherapy, was done back in World War I. Anyways, but that's what it's about. And so then you have side effects like burns and all that. So deafness. I mean, I can go on and on with the side effects. All right. But that's another one. And some people choose to do chemo. Okay. And then radiation is the other one. And so, again, they just kind of nuke it. You know what I mean? And see what happens. So, they typically like to test. Sometimes they'll do PET scans, and if you guys know what a PET scan is they use radioactive sugar. So they'll, again, why do they use that? Cancer likes what? Sugar. So it's radioactive. It'll light it up, and it'll look really pretty on an image. But I mean, it's big, and so this is where, that's where, like, if you have cancer and you go get that, you're actually going to feed it for a while, and you're going to keep having tested, so you're feeding it all the time. So that's where it's, so we're going to want to talk about that. This is what I suggest. I just got this done about 2 months ago. There's a place here in Boise called, I forgot. Anyways, it's down the road. Anyway, thermography of Idaho. Thermography of Idaho. And so, and so they'll do your whole body, or they'll do your torso or whatever. You got to get naked. But it's, with a person who's a professional or whatever. But basically, wherever there's hot spots, like the white spots or whatever, that can be an indication of maybe there's cancer. It doesn't really tell you if it is or not, but what they do is they monitor every 6 months or, and you can go see if it's actually grown or not. That makes sense? So, anyways, that's another way that's effective, but not going to be harmful for you. Okay, so it's kind of like those scans I do on your spine, thermography. It'll sense heat, and actively cells are pretty hot. Okay, so all right. So there's different types of cancers. I'm not going to go through this too much. There's hormone ones. Just really quick with hormone-related cancers. One reason you guys know that your receptor sites for hormones on the outside of the cell. So there's like estrogen receptors. This is just an example. See the little pink thing on the cell on the very edge? That's telling you that's a receptor for estrogen to come in, bind, and the estrogen works. But when you have lots of xenoestrogens, who knows what's xenoestrogen?
Zero, like false ones.
What did you say?
Is xeno mean zero?
Okay, so no. Who else?
False estrogen.
False estrogen. There you go. False estrogen, which comes from what?
Lots of things.
Lots of toxins. So toxins now, plastics, paint, like a lot of these kind of like chemicals are xenoestrogen, so they mimic estrogen. So now we're becoming estrogen dominant, and they're saying you're hormone imbalance, but because you're having so many toxins and then bind to those receptors and create an estrogen cancer. Does that make sense? So what would be the thing to do is to get rid of what? Toxins. So like right now everybody wants pumpkin spice candles, and I always like post stuff on my Facebook thing. I'm like, watch out, because all these candles typically have what? Toxins. Like you want to make sure it's made out of beeswax, and you know what I mean, or like no chemicals, or use essential oils to make your house smell pretty, like that On Guard, that I have going on. You know what I mean? So this is where, watch what you're doing, all right? Because we're increasing so much of the toxic load. All right. So inflammation-related cancer, sometimes you have like inflammation in your gut because of all the bad food, sugar, and all that. So then you'll get colorectal cancer, or like bladder, skin, pancreas. These are all inflammation. So what am I going to tell you to do is get rid of the inflammation. All right. But that's going to be the next thing I'll talk about with the nutrition. Toxicity-related ones like lung, kidney, thyroid, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma are toxicity-related. For example, sometimes people put deodorant, and it has what? Aluminum. I don't want you to smell bad, but at least use Patty taught me a great thing, and I'll introduce Patty here in a little bit. But there's this app called Yucca.
YUKA.
And so you get your app, and then you scan it, and it'll tell you this is a great product. So I actually scanned all my things just to make sure, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but it's better. Perfect would be making your own. But like that stuff that has aluminum and all that nasty stuff is going to clog your sweating pores. So you're going to get toxic and aluminum in your breast tissue and all that. Okay. So what are the risk factors of cancer? Lifestyle, diet, and environment. Now I'm going to talk about a lot of this stuff. I'm going to go fast. Okay, because I know that some of you know this stuff or some of you don't. But you know what? If you really want to know how to start doing this, get the Cancer Killers book. Now, these are used books, guys. Okay, so I'm selling them cheaper because this book doesn't exist anymore. It got banned or something. Okay, so this is a friend of mine's book, and unfortunately, he had stage 4 cancer. Dr. Charles Major, he wrote it with Dr. Seo G. He's still alive, but he's an amazing cancer doctor, The Truth About Cancer. Seo G is like an awesome friend of mine. He's really cool. Dr. Charles, the one that really came up with this book, had cancer, beat it for 8 years, but this is why he wrote it. He left a legacy, but he kept fighting it. I mean, unfortunately, he just waited too late. Like, does that make sense? So, but what is in that book? She's read it. Ken, did you read it too?
I read it, yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of jam-packed information. I love it because it's small, easy to read, and it's just good to take action. It tells you all the adjunctive therapies like hyperbaric, like the HACA, like IV therapies. There's so many options out there, but protocols too to start taking. So Budwig's protocol. I mean, I can go on and on with those, but you can read that book if you want it. So rats in the dump, I told you about that. So cancer doesn't make you sick, it's your sickness over time, and you're dirty. So what are the risk factors? And I'm not going to stress over all the information, no pun intended, but you guys know stress and peace of mind is key. I go to scripture. Some people go to self-help. Whatever you want to do. I go to scripture. This is my way of getting my stress relieved, because bitterness brings rottenness to the bones. You guys know this stuff. Like, it's all in the Proverbs, you know? So it's like, or you can go to self-help, Tony Robbins, I don't know, whatever. But do your thing. Okay, lack of sleep. I'm going to do a sleep class in December, sorry. It's all about sleep and sleep posture, sleep everything, you know, what pillows to use, what mattress, like all about sleep. And it's going to be a PJ party.
Yay!
So that's where, so come to that. But lack of sunlight, so many people want to take more vitamin D, and that's fine, guys, but that's synthetic vitamin D. I mean, we, offer it here, whatever, but I really think if you can just go get naked out in the sun, and now it's harder because it's going to go away, but using these like red light therapies, using light is so crucial, but you do want to make sure you start also supplementing maybe in the winter, okay, but then get back into getting some sunlight. Did you have a question?
Yeah, is infrared good? Infrared?
For saunas, yeah, for detox, definitely, yep.
Could you talk a little more about the red light therapy?
So red light therapy, remember the mitochondria that we talked about? So the mitochondria works so effective with energy production with red light therapy. That's why people feel with red light, like when you get in the sun, you need that light. Well, you get it from the rays of the sun too, but also like people wear sunglasses all the time, and you're blocking that. So the first time to get that light is early in the morning when the sun's coming out. It's a very powerful ray. You can go outside. I just go look at the sunrise, and just look at it for a while. And that, you need sun. So don't use sunglasses. Sunscreen's another thing that people use a lot of. And not only are you not blocking it, if you're going to use it, you know, the ones that don't have all the toxins, because now you slather yourself with toxins and then you put heat on it and it's penetrating. But red light therapy is so crucial for inflammation too. So some people have red light therapy done when they have joint pain. Just helps take away the inflammation. I mean, just there's a lot of chemical processes with that, but mainly it happens in the mitochondria.
And so red light is also in the sunlight then.
Yeah, so you get it, but you're gonna get it more when it helps with wrinkles, it helps, you know, with skin, it helps with so many things. But now they have red light lamps, and you can, you know, Joov is a company I like, Joov. It's expensive, but there's another company, I'm forgetting the name, but you can text me and I can show you. You can get one at home. So, or to ask George. He's our detox specialist. George is so brilliant. I don't know if you guys have talked to him, but he's very brilliant with all this stuff. And not only does he talk about it, but he does it. Like in his garage, he showed me he has this PEMF mat like I have at my house. He has his red light lamp. Like he does it all. Like, do you have a sauna too?
Yeah. I'm visiting you.
Like he does it all. All right, so lack of physical activity. Of course, I talked about exercise. You got to get out there. You know, lifestyle. It's 30 minutes. She said 30 minutes. That's all you need. Good 30 minutes of just walking outside, getting your heart rate up. We talk about max T3, which I'll show you in just a bit. But just getting some oxygen, getting your heart rate up, and then bringing it down at a high intensity, short duration. Obesity. If you get rid of sugar, you're going to lose weight. Okay, but this fasting thing we're going to do is really going to help you be better. So when the holidays come, you're going to be able to, I'm going to tell you, try to defy it and say, get away from me, Satan. But if you're going to join the crowd, you'll be better, in a better state. I just choose not to. What's that?
But when you do, it hurts.
Oh, can you come up here? So if you talk, so you guys have been in a healing journey.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know how many, 2 years ago?
A year ago.
Year ago?
October, I guess.
Yeah, we were in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to take her to the emergency room in the middle of the night, and ended up she had a gallstone problem, gallbladder, yeah. But we didn't know what it was. They did all these tests, and so it kind of was like a scare for us. So it was like we need to start eating better. So I went on, started doing keto hard, but she was pregnant, right? Nursing, so she couldn't go through.
Yeah, and how much have you lost?
I've lost 60 pounds. So.
Yeah, it's like a different guy. It's like,
but I
wow.
lost most of it within the first couple months.
Yeah.
Just by totally cutting carbs.
Yeah, now you can put an ash and go.
But, so, a story about it. But I was saying, it hurts you. Like literally 2 weeks ago, I went to the emergency room on Monday, Tuesday. I went to the emergency room, and I didn't know what was going on with me. Well, 3 hours later, CAT scan or everything, they said, "Oh, you have gas, really bad gas." But I'm like, and it hurt. Well, I ended up. We were at a birthday party. I went and cheated, and I just went totally off my diet. He goes, "Yeah, well, you can do that." So I was like, "Okay." And now
Never
I know
doing it again.
that. Yeah, I ate sugar. I ate whatever. I let myself go and do anything I wanted, and it totally hurt me. It took me down. Like literally, I had to leave work. And because I thought something serious was going on, and it was me choosing to not eat correctly.
Yeah.
So cake and ice cream.
Yeah. So now we do. I actually, and I didn't even enjoy the food
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was like, oh, cupcakes or cookies. No, it tastes terrible
Our dessert.
because we make our own desserts, we make our own foods, and it tastes way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll talk about you in a little with the gallstones that came out. Yeah. So anyways, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And since we're at this, you want to come in here and talk about Bob? Yeah. So he's doing, well, at the end of George's program with a detox that he does. So it's a very intense one, and you can talk about it.
Yeah, I've been coming since, let's see, first week of July. had severe pains in my thigh, and it being a soft tissue, kind of a nerve issue that I have a bone spur in L5, and that was not really the problem, but just the ability to go through the soft tissue therapy on the soft tissue machine.
Soft wave, yeah.
Soft wave. And then back on track has helped tremendously with my flexibility, and particularly with my neck. And then now with George, I'm into the total detox program and changing my diet and being more active and just getting my energy back to, you know, as a Christian, I want to serve the Lord and have the energy to do what He's called me to do, and just to change your eating habits and your lifestyle. I'm still kind of in the middle phase of the detox program, but looking forward to increasing my eating habits in a better way, and much more like you to get away from these binges that we tend to go on.
Yeah.
And didn't have quite the reaction you did, but I felt terrible for a couple of days when you eat too many sugars and some of the stuff when you go to these social events. So,
Yeah.
so I'm just kind of in it for just a couple of months, but you know, I want passion, persistence, and have just a preservation to keep on doing this, so I can do what I want to do for the Lord. So
Passion, persistence, preservation, and
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah. You need to know your why, guys. What is your why? And then too much sugar. And we have one more testimony. I'm gonna call you up here. Yes. You want to come on in here? Yeah. You.
No.
No, not you.
She said no.
Because now we're going to get to just other. So Erica Matthews has done so much for her health, and I want to get close to you so you can get on here. So just very proud of her, and you can talk about your story.
Okay, I might cry because I walked in and felt the presence of the Lord. I was like,
That's awesome. I prayed for that. I pray that he's here, omnipresent. He's oh, good girl. Yeah.
he's just so good. I'm just so thankful to be alive. Okay, I'm gonna get a hold of this. Okay, so almost, it was like, thanks, March of 2020, I was completely sidetracked and was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. And the Lord is just so good. It was like the biggest wake-up call ever, because I was completely living out of alignment. I was a Christian, but not fully walking how I know that I'm supposed to be walking in total alignment, just totally free. And I see a lot of people like that. We're just kind of half-hearted, right? We're just living for Him, but then living for ourselves. So He has so used cancer to draw me back to Him. And so it's been painful, but also it's been beautiful, because I chased the healer and not the healing. And I partnered with Him for my health. And so right away in the beginning, He put it in my heart, don't do chemo. Partly I was scared of losing my hair and my lashes and my eyebrows, so it was kind of a vanity thing, to be honest. But then it was like, oh no, I totally did the right thing. And it was like, the more that I've been on this journey, especially for ovarian cancer, I do not see a lot of success with people who, in fact, rarely any. And so I'm a wellness coach as well, podcaster, all that. And I took a very holistic approach and partnered with the Holy Spirit for my health. And so I mainly have worked on immunity, immune system, everything this woman said was like, oh my gosh, she's my lady. I had her on my podcast recently. She just popped in my head, which I know was the Lord, but she knows what she's talking about. And you're way more skilled and have more authority than most
Stop it.
oncology
I'm going to
doctors.
stop you because God gave you this as a gift to now go do what?
Heal.
But to go
Share, yes.
Share and encourage others.
Yes,
so that's now you're podcasting, because now you're encouraging others to walking what you're walking through. And He gave us authority, not one person, he gave us all authority.
Yeah, all
So you go
authority.
speak life into that
Yes,
person and that
yes,
person and that
yes.
person, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Each, so.
exactly. Yeah, I totally believe that. And we are so not living like God says we can live, right? And so that is just what this cancer journey has been like, an awakening, and how we really can heal. So I've worked on like immune system. So I went to a holistic cancer clinic in California, and we went after my immune system. And that's when I really saw the power of like changing your diet. Real quickly though, I think it's important to share this, is that right in the beginning of being diagnosed, there was a woman who had overcome stage 3 breast cancer holistically. And she asked me, so Erica, why do you think you got the cancer in the first place? And I was honestly like offended that she would even ask me that, because I was like, how am I supposed to know? Like, I'm a helpless victim of cancer. Like, what the heck? So then I go to this clinic in California, and my holistic doctor, her name's Dr. Keneally, she asked me the same thing. And so I started to think like, and then she started to tell me, like, you know, it's like you said, it's not a genetic thing, even though the cancer world, conventional world, wants you to think like it is. It's not. It's totally roots. There is roots to the cancer. And so I've just been on this journey of healing the roots, like unforgiveness, resentment, bitterness. That's a big one, and people don't even understand. Like, it's not ours to carry. We don't even have a right to carry it as believers. And that was part of this cancer thing. Chemicals and toxins in my environment, huge. And, you know, like if you guys go to ewg.org and pull up your water report, you just put in your zip code. Right on the report, it says cancer-causing carcinogenics, right on your report. So we're bathing in that stuff. All the toxins in our food, you know, we just wonder why we're sick, why 1 in 2 is getting a cancer diagnosis. So it's, you know, knowledge is power, but the Bible says applied knowledge is even better. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So it's amazing that you guys are here today, but I'm still on my journey, but the cancer that they say that I have, I never say my cancer because I don't want it, is a 9-month survival rate. And so I'm almost 4 years into this. And the thing is that he's promised me healing. So again, he keeps leading me. Every time I say, Lord, should I do low dose chemo? Like you know, the doctors are in awe. They're like, well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And it's like, yeah, because it's him, and listening to him and not being motivated by fear to make my decisions. So, yeah.
Yeah, follow her on Instagram. Erica, what's your?
It's Erica Matthews.
Erica, yeah, it's just amazing post. Yeah.
ERICA Matthews. And then real quickly, there's 2 things really quickly that I know have been a huge help, and it's molecular hydrogen gas. I actually have a woman that has a lung cancer diagnosis who was going on hospice that got on the same machine I'm using. So, and it's oxygen. So like what she was saying, it's a mixture of oxygen and hydrogen. So that's one of the main things the Lord has led me to. And then just different molecules. So
Yeah.
For your immune system. So yeah.
I think she did the molecule, the one you're doing too.
Oh, the transfer factors? Oh yeah.
So so ask her. These guys know lots of other.
How many years?
5.5.
Oh, who do you take it from?
Well, myself, but Dana Lombardi.
Oh, she's my mentor.
Yeah, so there's so many things out there, guys, and just ask these people because they're going. I mean, well, she's going through the journey. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. All right, so going back to just what to do. So again, too much sugar, and I'm going to tell you guys, it's not just sugar. Like she said, it's in everything. So it's carbohydrates, everything. And so my son, type 1 diabetic, 2 years into this, has not had any insulin unless when he was in the hospital, and then we got him off. But we went through a plant-based diet, which still, it was just carbs, I mean, from good vegetables, and did amazing, but he was still at 150. About 2 months ago, we're like, let's just see if we can get it into the 90s averaging, or 70s, where he's supposed to be. And we went carnivore. And I know a lot of you don't know carnivore, but we said no sugar whatsoever. Not even a lot of, it's a lot of fat. Good quality protein. So I won't recommend it for everybody, but we had to completely change his fuel to just ketone bodies, which we're going to talk about ketone bodies in just a little bit. But that's where we completely, so what degree you are, just lateral shifts, like to make these changes. Like these are lateral shifts, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have dairy whatsoever, you know what I mean? But if you're going to have like dairy or stuff like that, sugar, start doing some better quality stuff. But sometimes with people like her with cancer, or with people like my son, we just said completely no, nothing that even protein can turn to sugar, you know what I mean? Glycogen and stuff. So that's where it's one of these things. I'm not teaching carnivore today, but I am going to teach a lot of getting the advanced plan, which is, you know, high up there. It's kind of like keto, but carnivore is even higher. Okay, so bit by bit, refined carbohydrates. If you're just still having pasta, rice, you know, all that, as long as it's like, so stop eating the refined stuff and start now shifting to what? The whole, you know, like spelt those words, you know, that are so fancy. I'm not going to go through too much nutrition here, but like vegetable oils, all seed oils have bad processed oils like canola oil, vegetable oil, all those, corn oil. Get rid of those. Soy bean, whatever, soy oil. I don't even know what they are anymore. Just go back to true oil. And typically that's going to be like butter, tallow, duck fat, avocado oil, if you're going to still have that, coconut oil, you know, those oils that are, you know, very, very, very good quality fats. And all the resources, like the book, the Align Your Health book, we have like all the lists. I think he even gave you guys a list, right, of food? Yeah, at the very back. So of your packet, this packet here, very back, it's called the keto diet. That's your list. The front one has the foods to have. Then you have the vegetables, so you have in moderation, and fruit have in moderation, because some fruit have what? Sugar. And then I think berries and green apples have very little. And then the back is foods to avoid. All right. And then, like, if you don't know, Patty is a cook, and she can help you with some meals. Like, if she can help you kind of figure it out, you can talk to Patty. So, all right. So, lack of anti-cancer foods. So in our approach, when we first started healing my son, we went through this autoimmune diet where we took all the things that were inflaming his gut because it's an autoimmune disease. But then we put him on a lot of greens. So green juices, lots of this. But when we started to find out some of these foods he was sensitive to with his autoimmune disease. So that's why I went carnivore for here recently. But they have lots of good cancer properties. Lack of prebiotics and probiotics. Your gut has such a good microbiome, and that's where you build your immune system. So you need to make sure you're on a good prebiotic and probiotic. So one that feeds the bacteria, and sometimes you need different strains of bacteria. So sometimes people take probiotics, the same strain all their life, and then you have to switch it. You have to change it. So that's why we do GI maps, which see if you have the good bacteria or what bad bacteria we need to kill, such as parasites or funguses or candida, all that stuff. And then, of course, I don't have to talk about smoking, hopefully. If you haven't left that, it's time to at least let go of that. Okay. Endocrine disruptors, like I talked about. I know I gave you plastic water bottle, but if you didn't come prepared, that's what I had to do. But bring your stainless steel bottle and, you know, fill it up. So this is this man here. How old are you? Stand up. I brag on people a lot.
I'm 83.
And there's another 83-year-old, and he's available.
Only one condition, though. She told me I had blood pressure of a 17-year-old. My theory is I've got to be home by 9 to go to bed. Alone.
So this is what he brings to drink his water in, you know, and he always brings it. Just like,
I drink 3 of these a day.
amen. So that's what, and his cushion, he brings his cushion to say that. So I love it, yes.
I want to ask about alkalinity, like water-wise, like canyon water.
Oh yeah, so thank you for reminding me of this. So I didn't talk about water, but sometimes people are buying this Kangen water and stuff like that. You know, that's totally up to you if you think that that's helping you. My eyes, when you drink water that's been alkalized, now you're putting it into your body, and it's in your stomach. You need acidity, so it's gonna decrease your acidity in your stomach, and you won't be able to digest your food properly. So to me, I'd rather to alkalize your body, like if you have low pH, have apple cider, have acidic things, lemon, apple cider vinegar in your water, because then it's an acid ash reaction where you take this acid like that, citrus fruits and lemon, and you squirt it into your water or lemon oil. But it will then, your body will make it into a base, and instead of an acid, a base, once it passes through your stomach. That makes sense? So this is where it's kind of weird. People are like, I can't have acid. I'm already acidic. I'm having acid reflux. It's like, no, it actually will help you neutralize
You said
your stomach.
oil, the lemon oil. Is that better than just
You can add like essential oil like onto
Yeah.
your water if you want to.
But that works just
one
as well as
Like one drop, yeah.
One.
Because I mean, with it, yeah, it's pretty potent. But I mean, the apple cider vinegar or whatever. But you know, you have a lot of theories with that. But I think the body knows exactly what it needs and what to do if you give it the right nutrients. See, the body doesn't need help healing; it just doesn't need interference. And so we try to be the doctors, kind of like sometimes, you know, allopathic model is about dimming down or going up, but they give you an outside-in approach. So take Metamucil for whatever, you know what I mean? But why not just take more of the foods that have magnesium and fiber to kind of get things going? So you guys, so your body knows what to do. It just needs the right thing. So that's my take. I don't know. Go ask other people. Yeah, and if it's been working for you and you're alkalized, then maybe it's working for you. You know, so that's why I'm saying I don't know. I'm not a cancer doctor. I just do the best I can. But keep asking, keep showing up. Also, this is another big factor here. So environmental things that are given to our cows is changing our cows' grain instead of grass. So make sure we're going to talk about that in just a bit. But glyphosate, you guys know what glyphosate is? I used to say that word and people looked at me with weird eyes. Glyphosate is like Roundup. Monsanto has basically destroyed our fields, and so this glyphosate is actually carcinogenic, and it's been proved to be carcinogenic, and so this is where it's ruining all our crops. But a lot of people are getting chemical sensitivities. It's not that you're sensitive to gluten, it's a glyphosate. That's the problem. You get rid of everything that is and almost everything has it, so you have to buy organic. And even our organic food can be kind of sprayed by the rain from the glyphosate that's gone up and then down. So it's not going to be, I mean, grow your own food if you can. It's not going to be perfect, but do that. We talked about sunscreen. And then this is a battle. You guys know Wi-Fi is everywhere. And if I were to tell you just, you know, 5G, all these towers that are coming up, it's lethal, all this stuff. I don't know if you guys can, never sell your property to put one of those things out for sure. Okay, I can go on and on with this one in itself. There's so much going on. But if I were just to say, if you can, in your home, you can control a lot of stuff. In my house, we don't have Wi-Fi until we hit the button. Does that make sense? So at the end of the night, We hit the button. I don't even at the end of the night when we're not using it, and it turns off. But you still have from the houses next to you. You know what I mean? It's like you can only do what you can here, or wear like aluminum foil. But you can actually, your monitor outside, you can cover it with like these aluminum wraps. I mean, there's so much that you can do. Your Wi-Fi on your telephone, you can turn it off at night, you know, turn the airplane mode on, and then don't keep it next to your bedstand. You know, there's so many things now that you can do, but just go online and Google, you know, what can I do to protect my home from EMFs?
What about the EMF like jewelry they sell and underwear they sell and
Underwear.
it was on.
What do you mean?
They have sheets, it's for grounding.
Oh, like grounding, yeah. So just go lay on the grass over there today in the park and just enjoy the fall weather and ground. Naked. Get some sun. But no, I mean, there's so much to ground. PEMF machines are actually for grounding. They now have those that you can buy. There's stuff that I don't know. I don't know the quality of that stuff, but there are some good, great mats that we have a PMF, like she gets in that. We have a PMF. We have all this stuff, but you know, we suggest people buy their stuff, but get it from good quality sources.
Even microwaves. I have a neighbor that was Farrah Fawcett's. He's a cancer doctor in Sacramento. It's her brother. And two things that he said he will never do is microwaves and water bottles.
Yeah, so get rid of your microwaves or don't use them and put them in the garage if you're going to do. I like those little warm packs that you heat up in the microwave and they get like the beads. But we keep it in the garage and then we run away. And then after a minute get it. But you know what I mean? But yeah, so microwave not only it nukes your food and it turns it carcinogenic. So it's been researched. That's been something we've always taught in our detox classes. But yeah, some people don't know that. So they're still using it, you know, to hit up their stuff in styrofoam, you know, containers that lead to then the plastic. And
what's sad is even the towers that they're building. Have you ever noticed they're all by the schools?
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
But see, that's where it's right here, right next door in that elementary school. They just, and it's just like, what can you do? But it's because it's, And so that's the thing, guys. You can't live in a bubble, but you can control you and try to vote for people who are a little bit more like-minded. That you are, okay? There's people, I mean, I don't call you out, but like those iPhone watches and then the buds, and they're wearing them all day long. You're just nuking your head. And so, I mean, whatever, but I just try to stay away from my phone. And even when I answer it, I put it on speaker and I kind of like try to like put it away. But those things are all cumulative. Is it going to kill you today? No. But it's cumulative. Does that make sense? Yes. And then that's like running this way faster. I mean, where do you want to go? So you just try to decrease one thing at a time. Is it going to be perfect? Never. You know, just do the things you can. Toxins live in your home. I'm just going to fly through these guys because a lot of this you've heard me say so many times with personal care products. You know, you're going to use the cleaner stuff. Pots and pans. You guys know stainless steel or cast iron. Okay. I like cast iron because I get to work out. You know, just glass containers. You know, if you're going to heat up your food, you know, just don't use that non-sticky stuff. Formaldehyde, cancer causing stuff. So, water, there's so much that can be said on water, just like she said, but at least get some kind of a reverse osmosis for your sink, or even a Brita if you can't do it financially. But if you can get a whole house filtration system, that's like, because you shower with this chlorine and you know, so it's just one of those things. Like when we do tubs, we have a filtration system in my house, but like we used to put like little chlorine, little caplets that would get vitamin C caplets that would get rid of the chlorine. But now I like my system. But we invested in this stuff little by little. Did we do it all at one time? We go broke. But one thing every year for Christmas, that's what we do. It's like, what can we do to get healthier? So that's my Christmas gift. I don't want anything but something to help make me healthier. So one year we bought a sauna. Oh, cool. That was the gift of the year. And then the next year we bought another thing. You know, we bought a hyperbaric chamber, not because I wanted to, you know, get patients in it, even though I still have patients come and use my stuff. But my son, you know what I mean? He needed all the help with oxygen he could get. And so we invested in that. Like one of these I got one year, which is a air filtration system. So I don't know if you guys know those little kind of like air filtration systems that clean up your air, you know. So in the winter specifically, in the summer, open your windows. I don't know. You just get clean air. So rebuilding your immune system. So we talked about like what to get rid of. I'm just going to fly through these again. So we call them the 5 essentials. So we always talk about 5 things to do: stress, nutrition, detox, exercise, and chiropractic. Nutrition, just going to fly through these guys. But if I were going to say for cancer specifically, I would start juicing. And this is the recipe that I give to my patients. It's in my book. But this is the recipe. It's basically cucumber, celery stalks, granny Smith apple, one of them, a lemon, turmeric, parsley, cilantro, and I think kale or spinach. All right, but you can get this from my team and start juicing. Okay, so how much to juice? This is not a juicing class. We do that too, but basically just at least start doing 1 meal of juicing. All right. So we have 2 plans that we teach here for nutrition. We have the core plan, which is still a little toxic, or we have the advanced plan, which is more like a ketogenic. Okay. And so the core plan is, you know, many healthy fats, no damaged fats, naturally raised animal products, whole grains are still allowed, in ancient grains, variety of fruits. So really it's this: God food versus man food. So if it's real food, if it has a plastic container or a bag or something, like try to get rid of it. Okay. So with advanced plan, the only difference is that here is that we're going to try to kill cancer by doing what? Getting rid of sugar. So here is no grains. So on the core plan, you're allowed to eat grain, but on the advanced plan, why no grain? It turns to sugar. So no rice, no oatmeal, no quinoa, no, I don't know, pasta, tortillas. So what did I give you over there? I gave you a salad with berries, so you can have berries for fruit. You can have apples if you want to chop them up and put apples in there. What was the dressing? Organic extra virgin olive oil. You don't want to heat that stuff, guys, because it turns bad. Okay, so just use it for that. And then what? Vinegar, but I made sure that it had no sugar, because balsamic vinegar, typically they put all this kind of concoctions in it. So read the ingredients. And then what else did I give you? Gave you guacamole with like ancient grain, with not non-grain, cassava siete brand. You guys know what that is, right? They make tortillas too, but my family doesn't eat that at all.
What's it made out of, Chip?
What's that?
What's it made out of?
Cassava.
Oh, what is it?
It's root, like but it's basically very low in sugar. Okay, but you're supposed to have like 5 or 6, not the whole bag. So, all right, and that's a problem, that they're addictive. So pack on the guacamole, and one chip you just keep, like, take a little bite and then like keep with your own dip. Does that make sense? So and then chicken I got from Chipotle. But you know what I mean, you do the best you can, or you can make your own. What else did I have there? Olives, berries, I don't know, hummus. anyways, hummus and vegetables, you can do that. So it's easy, guys. You can just start changing what you do. So for breakfast, you can have an omelet, yeah?
If you're not cooking with the EVOO, the extra virgin olive oil, are you using coconut oil and the tallow you mentioned?
In my house, we use only tallow or ghee or,
So you don't ever heat olive oil?
no.
Is what I heard you say. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because once it turns hot, like to high temperature, or even if it smokes, now you ruined it. Like butter, the same thing. We cook with butter, but if you crank it up and it's brown, you just oxidated it. Yeah, so you want butter is great. It's just don't heat it too high. Yeah. So and then the only other change with this is if you're gonna sweeten it, I use stevia or monk fruit, but I don't even use this stuff anymore with my son's condition, but I recommend stevia. And stevia, you got to make sure it's a good quality. Like this is alcohol free, so it only has one ingredient, and that's where a lot of times people get the Truvia or like all this other sweeteners that probably are cheaper, but they have a lot more stuff. So yeah, I can't believe it's not butter. Well, it's not butter. It's plastic, you know. So now I want to talk about the action step for healing cancer. And this is what we're going to talk about. So this is not new science, guys. This is old. I mean, fasting has been used for years. And specifically, they started using it in 1950s for epilepsy. So epilepsy, a lot of times the problem is they get overstimulated with sugar, but what they found to help, ketone bodies can feed the brain, and when you go through fasting, you're not giving your body sugar. Your body has to find another fuel source. And so it will either use your fat. So like if we have fat around our bodies, it's going to find that fat and it's going to utilize that for energy. So you're going to get leaner, okay? But you're going to become a lean burning machine, okay? And so look at her, she's lean. Does she look deadly? No. She looks strong. She's still fighting her cancer. You know what I mean? So, but she looks like she can take some people on. You know what I mean? So this is where, then your body will start to burn ketone bodies. And so ketones are basically going to be produced from your body through the liver. So your body's going to make these ketone bodies from fat. And so it's going to mobilize the fat, it's going to form a ketone, and then the ketones are utilized in the brain very effectively for fuel. That's why with people with seizures, as soon as you start putting them on a ketogenic diet or an advanced plan, ketogenic and advanced plan are the same thing, guys. And by the way, I wrote a book called Mexiquito Kitchen. So if you like Mexican food and you want to go keto, that's the one that I would recommend. But so fasting. So what it does is basically your body starts to recycle old tissue like tumors, like the cancer. It'll start breaking it up and utilizing for fuel too. So autophagy is a name where your body will kill those cancer cells and utilize them for energy. It's the recycling method. And how you fast, you're not going to go from eating all this food to fasting the next day. You got to graduate from like eating maybe a selected time period, okay, which there's different time periods. Like at night, you typically stop eating like around at 9 maybe, and then you sleep, and then when do you eat again? Like around maybe 8 o'clock or whatever. So that's fasting. So you have breakfast. So you just fasted. But now we think that we're supposed to be eating all the time. So we snack all day long. Oh, I need a snack. I need a snack. So when you're sleeping, you're what? Healing. When you're fasting, you're healing. Your body is healing. But now we're going to extend that time a little further. So let's say you stop eating at 8 instead of 9, and you don't start eating till like 11 or 12. So now you've extended that fasting. So now you're healing longer. Does that make sense? But little by little, as time goes by, you're going to start to need sugar because you're not going to have sugar in your body anymore to utilize, like glycogen or. So you're going to need more what to help you satiated? Fat. Now, if you're like a 300-pound man, you can fast all year long. I'm serious, and it's been done where there's been guys who have fasted 365 days and not eaten, but they haven't had fat to what? To utilize. But if you're tiny and you're fasting for longer and longer, so then you start doing to where, so this fast, if you read it along with me, can I grab yours? Okay, I don't have this. So this is what we came up with here. We're going to do this gradually so you can keto fat adapt. Okay, you're going to go from a sugar burner to a what? Fat burner. That's what he did, and when he added sugar, what did his body feel like? It was bad because he had fat adapted. And now you're throwing all this sugar. But so week number 1. Thank you. So I get to keep yours. Okay. So the week 1, you're not going to change anything. All you're going to change, not your diet. You're only going to add more what? Fat. So you're going to add some coconut oil to your meals. I don't know, maybe make a omelet with more coconut oil. So 2 tablespoons. You're going to have 2 tablespoons grass-fed butter or ghee. So like good grass-fed butter, you just slather it onto what you're already, like if you're having a steak, slather some butter on top of it. You know what I mean? So just add more fat. You're going to love this week. All right? Huh?
You can put a little in your coffee.
In your coffee, yeah. So butter in your coffee. You're going to add more olive oil or avocado oil to your salad. And this is key right here because you're going to start fasting. You're going to need minerals. So you're going to add more sea salt or take some mineral capsules. So we're going to suggest that you take even more minerals. So we're going to, if you're going to do this challenge, you're going to need min, which is minerals, because you're going to need magnesium, or else you're going to get lots of cramps. All right, so we haven't fasted yet. So week number 2, you're going to eat only 3 keto-friendly meals per day. All right, so in week number 1, 2, you're going to eat keto-friendly meals. What's a keto-friendly meal? It's called the advanced plan, which is also called the healing diet. Okay, so do you guys get that, or do you have questions on that? You're just not going to have grain. You're not going to have sugar. You're only going to have what fruit? Berries or green apples. You're going to have quality protein, which is grass-fed, wild fish, free-range chicken, and you're going to, there's one more, increase more good quality fat. Yeah.
Can you have eggs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have eggs. That's on the list on protein. So the protein's right here, processed organ. Yeah, so it's right there. You saw it? Okay. So, go ahead.
Pasteurized egg, what is that?
So pasture, they eat pasture, like they pasteurized.
Like milk?
Oh, pasteurized milk is, I think they homogenize it. That don't they? I don't know. Is that what they do? Where they take the fat out. Pasture raised.
So what is the milk that's organic that can last a long time? My husband doesn't believe in why that the organic milk, you can have it for months.
Unfortunately, most organic milk, they'll put one ingredient to do that, like all organic cream, yeah. So, I can get that back with you with that one, because I think I know what you're talking about. But they they heat it up, and then so you don't want it to be raw milk would be the best. Yeah, if you can get raw milk, go with that.
Also, green vegetables. Eating those with it, not just the fat, but having some green vegetables with it will help.
Yeah, so keto. So that's what keto allows for vegetables, of course. So I would think like green. So eating the salad first before like everything else would be like a huge thing. All right, so I need to hurry up here because I have the gentleman coming in. But I want to walk through this with you. So week number 2 is eat only 3 keto-friendly meals per day, just like no snacks. So don't eat in between meals. Let your body rest. No nuts, snacking, or whatever. I know some of you grab like a whole thing of nuts. Don't eat less. Simply eat less often. So you're just going to have 3 meals, all right? So it's the same thing, but you're still going to continue the 2-2-2-2. You guys know what the 2-2-2-2 means? Okay. Week 3, start daily intermittent fasting. So now you're going to widen the gap. So those 3 meals, you're going to eat them at a certain time frame. So like I told you, like maybe at 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So you skip breakfast, but you have breakfast at what time? 12. Okay. A keto-friendly meal, but you eat them within that time frame. You guys get that?
Yes.
Okay. Week number 4, diet variation, which allows ancient feast-famine cycle. So use the 5-1-1 principle. So this is what this means. So you're going to continue intermittent fasting for 5 days. You're going to eat from 12 to 8 for 5 days. But one day, and the 2-2-2-2, one day is going to be a meal of 500 to 800 calories. One meal. One day. So you're just going to have one meal the whole day. All right? So if you pick it at 12, at 3, at 6, but one meal. How many calories? 500 to 800. Okay? And then choose one day for your feast day. So I typically like Saturday to be that one day, and Sunday to be I get to feast. Okay? Again, on keto, but I get to eat as many meals as I want that day. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay? So you'll increase your carbs to 100 to 200. So you can, maybe have a good quality yam or something. I don't know, something like that. Whatever you want to do. So week 5, next level variation is 4-2-2. So 4 days you'll intermittent fast. Choose 2 days that you're going to only eat one meal. Now we'd spread them apart. And then 1 day of feasting. And then week number 6, yes, this is the hardest, the 5-day fast. So you're not going to have any meals for 5 days. But by then you've already what? You become more of a fat burner. So you just drink water and your minerals. None of the oil or anything, just water, right, Monica? I mean, Michelle?
Yeah, we
yes.
didn't even brush our teeth.
Yeah, she did it.
Wow.
So no eating. Now, would I suggest that maybe for her, maybe not, because she's already too little. But I'm not going to say just because you're too little, but guess what she's going to utilize more for fuel? Recycling her what? Her whatever remaining cancer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But with her, I would probably say have some fat. Have some butter. Eat a butter stick. I don't know. Yeah.
I have a question on that, Rosie, because it says like all of these things that are around like Facebook or whatever on social media, like women keto compared to men keto, like.
If you're menstruating, it's best to have more carbs then. So don't do it whenever you're menstruating. I mean, but yeah.
But in all reality, fasting all day is fine for women.
Yeah. So pick a week that's going to work. Pick these 5 weeks. I mean, this is what, October. You're going to finish before Thanksgiving. So you're going to be great. And then just whenever you have Thanksgiving, by the way, at the very end, I'll tell you, I'm going to do like a little Thanksgiving thing here. And then week 7, you're going to break your fast, but low and slow. So you just don't go from not eating to like eating a lot. You're going to pick some foods that are like what it says right here. And then on day 2, you can add in the raw foods. Then day 3, you start to go back to a keto diet. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. And then you keep doing that. And maybe on Thanksgiving, you have a little splurge, but you're going to get bloated. Or you just choose not to. And come and learn the desserts we're going to teach you for Thanksgiving are going to be all the good stuff. So, all right. So did they come in already, those men? Okay. So I'm going to just finish this off, guys. So let's see. Any questions, really quick?
One question. Is it okay to eat like one meal a day, a healthy meal in a 5-hour window and do that all the time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I only eat typically two meals a day, or maybe one sometimes. I don't have breakfast. I typically just kind of have my coffee. I have to have my coffee. That's like, I'm addicted. Yeah. Coffee, no, with cream, but heavy cream. Yeah. So, I'll add butter, like, yeah. So
no cheese.
Oh, you can have cheese for the keto. You can, but raw cheese or good quality, yeah, cheese. You don't have to. You can be off dairy if you want to.
What results can you look to have after the 7 weeks? What's the goal?
So, if yeah, so you guys are going to have lots of questions, but feel free to talk to George or text me or whatever, but he's like going to be somebody who is a resource, but I have to continue. So supplementation really quick for cancer. I'm not going to do that unless you have it, talk to me, but for sure vitamin D, vitamin C, you know, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. Curcumin is like huge. If you're not taking turmeric for inflammation, like that should be your go-to. I mean, or have good quality turmeric. Some of these protocols that I talk about, coffee enemas, ask me if you want to do, because then the next step would be now healing your gut upstream. So we do coffee enemas, or we go to a hydrocolon therapist. I have resources, but a coffee enema you can do, and I have the protocols for all these guys. And if I have it here, I've done it, and my patients have done it. This is a cod liver oil warm pack. If you guys don't know anything about the benefits of cod liver oil, if you don't have a sauna, you can put cod liver oil on a wool pack and then put it with a warm pack on top, and like your liver, like right here, and it'll mobilize the liver to flush. Yes. I mean cod liver, castor oil. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong one. Castor oil. Okay. This is right here, ozone therapy. I use it a lot. Insufflations in my behind, but in my ears. But we have a ozone machine at the house. That ozone basically pushes oxygen into your body. And so we use this for a lot of things. Ear infections, vertigo, tinnitus. I mean, but that's me putting it in here. It's basically putting the ozone into her body. What she got in my house, this is not the hyperbaric. We have one of these at my house too, a hyperbaric oxygen machine, which basically pushes oxygen into your body. This is us and the family and the playing games in the hyperbaric. I mean, we just basically, it's part of our routine to remain healthy. This is the Hocket that Patty talked about. So you get in this chamber. It has 10 therapies. It has so much. Ozone therapy, PEMF, oxygen, ultrasound, cavitation, far infrared, CO2, which is carbon CO2 therapy. I'm not going to talk about all the benefits of this here. I'll never finish. Electrotherapy that kind of like detects what disease you have, and it'll attack it with electrotherapy. So whether it be cancer, diabetes, whatever, thyroid issues, whole body hyperthermia. So she said it was warm. It's actually an infrared sauna, but it's going to be a little hot in there. Photon light therapy, what we were talking about, aromatherapy. So it's like you get in a cocoon for 30 minutes, and we put a video for you, whatever that you want to listen to, and you just relax. Yeah. So anyways, this is another way of doing an enema. This is what you did. A lot of these things, guys, I'll tell you what to do. Hold the gallbladder cleanse. This is what comes out. Now, some people are afraid that, wow, that's going to hurt. No, they dissolve. Basically, the gallstones dissolve with the hold of the gallbladder cleanse, and they come out of your body. And then you wash your poop, and you'll see all these green little stuff. Okay, guys, we have parasite protocols. I'm not going to show all the pictures, but this is the stuff. I mean, we do all that line right there, cell core. We have had a guy that it just keeps coming out. And guys, these parasites, these tapeworms and roundworms, hold on to even worse things like mercury and all that. So these are toxins that are in our body, and we all have them. We all have parasites, but some people are not willing to do this stuff. It's so easy to do the protocols. They're just capsules and tinctures, and just do it and watch what comes out. It's kind of cool. But it first, before you can do this or this, you first have to do you have to have your intestines going. So that's why you got to talk to me or George before you start doing these things. Heavy metals in your mouth, like that's another thing, but if they're in parasites too, so we do a heavy metal test, which we are offering today. Typically this is, I think, I don't know, $180. We're doing it for $120, but it's a hair sample that we get from you to then send it to test for heavy metals. And I think that's in your little booklet. Okay, so you can talk to my team about that. And then, of course, the book, make sure you get that. All right. This is the supplements that we have. The bind and the G cell are to help clear the liver. The minerals are for if you're going to do fasting, and the fasting, you're going to want to make sure that you're clearing the liver while you're fasting, doing that action step. So this is why we call this the bundle. You would want to get, if you just want to get tested, because we don't guess, we test, then we would suggest you get tested to see what toxins you have in you, and then do the challenge, or you can just do the challenge, whatever you guys want to do, but talk to my team. All these things are 25% off today. And then lastly, guys, I'm not going to go into exercise a lot, but just get moving for 30 minutes or get in an infrared sauna too to sweat. I would rather you do it free, and unless you have a sauna at home, or, you know, but to get these toxins out of your body. Okay. Lastly, guys, I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. Kids, do not detox, do not do the fast if you're pregnant, okay? Please, whatever comes out of you will go into, if you're breastfeeding, do not detox. Do not do any of these kind of crazy things if you're pregnant or have kids. But do kids need to detox? People say, why do kids get cancer then? A lot of it has to do with what? Mom. I hate to say it, but mom, the umbilical cord that they test, you know, for cancers, typically that's where they found all the toxins in mom. So if mom's sick, and not to say that dad doesn't matter, but mom's where the baby is growing up and you know, coming. So afterwards, you want to make sure your kid, you know, once they're not breastfeeding, now don't give them all the bad, you know, like we talked about from the very beginning. At the minute they're born, they get all these like antibiotics and vaccines, and then McDonald's, and then before you know it, you guys see that? It's like a bucket. It fills up, and then before you know it, they're getting other things as adults. So watch what you're doing for your kids. Mindset, he's going to talk about spiritual stuff right now. But even just journaling, guys, you guys know, that's key. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is chiropractic. And this study tells you how powerful, by getting adjusted, there's been research done that it increases your interleukin 2, which is an immune system part of your body. So when you get adjusted, you're just functioning better. Again, you can go a month without food. We're going to probably not do a month here. We're going to do how many days? 5. But you can go days without water. So you're just going to have good quality water, guys, by the time, you know, fast with good quality water. All right. You can go minutes without air, but you can't go a second without wet. Remember, your cells need nerve supply. You need nerve supply. Now watch, this is a great study. I just like this one. I'm not going to show him really quick, but you guys know this guy, right? So he looked good, but what did he die of? Cancer. So does it looking good equate to health? No. So you guys get that. But these two people, I don't know if you guys know Masha and Dasha. They were conjoined twins. This is back in the 50s. But why I show this, because this was an interesting study. So these two were conjoined at the hip, So they had the same blood flow, like I was saying. They had the same everything. The only thing that was different was that, I think their lungs, because they were only conjoined here, but they had the same immune system. But one would get sick and then the other one wouldn't. And what did we talk about?
The blood flow.
The nerve flow. So this one over here would get sick all the time because his spine was all contorted. And so this is where the power of chiropractic, guys, if you're subluxated in your spine and it's not functioning right, those nerves go to all your organs. So when we talk about health, you got to get adjusted. So we want to make sure that we adjust you not only for pain, but to maximize your what? Your God-given potential, which flows, the power that made the body heals the body. The power flows through the system. And that's what makes everything work, is your nervous system. So make sure that you get adjusted, guys. Keep getting adjusted to your patients. And if you haven't get checked for your spine, make sure you get checked. I mean, that would just be like a no-brainer. So, and we've showed you this continuum. This is health, and this is death. I show you this all the time when I do classes, because most people don't have symptoms over here. 50%, they still don't have symptoms. When do people get symptoms? Until there's 60% loss of health. So most people wait till there's a problem. Finally, they get diagnosed, and where do you run? This way or that way? With drugs, everything over here. You understand? So you don't want to wait till you have symptoms. When do you want to start taking care of your health? Like now. So don't wait. If you already have a warning sign, that's already too late. I mean, we can help you fix it, but start getting adjusted, start exercising, start eating right, start doing this stuff. Now I'm going to skip all this, and that's it. So last thing here, guys, we have a sweater drive for the holidays, and we're going to start collecting. So if you want to get checked for your nervous system, bring a sweater. That's all I want. You don't have to pay me for your nervous system check. Just bring a sweater, and we'll get your, if you want to just donate sweaters, go for it. Okay, so just make sure that I want to collect up at least 500. Okay, so bring a winter sweater. And it says for kids, but really we all need good warm sweaters for the winter. So this is the Thanksgiving thing on November 13th. We do a 5 essentials class where we talk about the 5 essentials here, but that day we're going to do a healthy holiday dessert at 5. So at 5 o'clock, I'm cooking. So you don't have to cook. You just show up and eat healthy desserts. Because I want you to understand how easy it is. Typically, I give you a recipe and you bring one and we all do a potluck. But I'm just going to go ahead and make all the desserts I typically have made in the past. And then you can come try it and have a nice dessert treat. But at least it's healthy. You won't get the whole pie, but you'll get little pieces of it. Okay, guys? So that's 5 o'clock. And here on this thing, I need to know who's coming to know how much to cook. So you can put yes or no, okay, if you're coming, or you think you're coming, because then we'll call to confirm. All right? And if you're a new patient, if you're not a patient, you want to become a patient, you can schedule your appointment on this section here. And if you want to get checked for a sweater, and you can do that, or you can pay us $40, whatever. And then you give this to my team, and before you leave, and they'll pick that up. In the meantime, I'm going to answer any other questions. If you do want this little book, or the Cancer Killer book, talk to my team. But if you want this little book, guys, let me know. I only have so many, but only take it if you really really want it. Okay, so remember I told you Leno's gonna stay here for that, so if you need to go to the bathroom, do that, and if you want to talk to my team, and he'll get started here in 5-10 minutes. So all right, guys, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how much just this is?
Great question. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Right now I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
That's just awesome.
Yeah. Just get with them. I think it's this right here.
Okay, gotcha.
Talk to my team and give those things to my team, please.
I did. It did. It was amazing. And then I sent her pictures. I was like, well, what do I do with these? And she's like,
So you evidently went to my friend Debbie Cleaver from Magenics.
Janice.
oh, you're good.
Oh, Shannon.
Oh, Shannon what? I didn't get the name.
You did the scan.
Oh, the thermography? Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you know her?
Debbie Cleaver.
I don't know who she was. It was another lady.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Even she's on not so far from here.
I think she's the only one in the area that does it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I must have been her.
Yeah.
From